What's up, boys? So today we're doing another video. This time we're doing some TvP work, which I think I've actually done on the channel. This replay is actually pretty long, but I think I'm gonna split it into two parts. And the first part is gonna be focusing and addressing early game TvP and really just an explanation of what things mean, what you want to be looking for, all that kind of stuff. This is from a game I played against Cyan in DreamHack Last Chance qualifier. And I feel like the early game for me was really good. So I'll go ahead and show you what that kind of looks like. But I'm planning on breaking down TvP into like 3 different parts. Early game, mid game, late game, and kind of just like explain the different parts. Not really focus on build order, more so like decision making, and how I react to what my Protoss opponent is doing. So I actually don't remember the build I did. But yeah, so normal scouting, right? SCV scout. Here I'm looking for proxies. But if you find it easier, just go across. So a couple of things here, that are really important. And in this case, I went Marine first. So when you play Marine first, maybe this is not too big of a deal, but something like, I guess like a little tip to start off here is like, it's good to not show the Marine unless you can for sure kill the probe. If you show the Marine, it just, for some Protoss players, at least in my experience, like they see Marine first and their instant reaction is like, you're playing 3 racks, which is obviously like not always going to be the case, but Protoss players will blind react to that and just assume you're playing 3 racks. So personally, I think it's just a lot better to not reveal it, unless maybe you kill the probe, then that might be worth it. It really just depends on what you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with them knowing that information. So here I SCV scout, thing looks normal. Low ground for me, you know, that's pretty aggressive, and he is going to rally straight across, seems like. So I actually took off the SCV from here to build the bunker. The reason why is I thought it was going to be an adept, and the adept would get there really fast, so it's going to be a bit of a time crunch. But it ended up being a soccer, which is kind of weird to me. But yeah, I'm not trying to focus too much on the early game stuff, to be honest with you guys, or at least not like the build order stuff. So in this game, something that I like to do, and you guys have probably seen this before, is the Marine first into like a later Reaper. I think Soul or now Spear used to do this a lot. But basically, you know, you build 2 Marines first, and then to your next pair, it's going to be like 1 Reaper, 1 Marine. And it actually works really well against somebody who's spamming their gateway units across the map. So it could be something that you don't necessarily need to plan ahead of time. So if, for example, I am building these Marines from a reactor first, and my opponent enters with like fast gateway unit, I could be like, and continues to, for example, rally gateway units like adepts. That could prompt me to build a later Reaper and then send it to the back this way to go across. So that is an example of like a scenario in which you could do this Reaper stuff. In this case, so I used to try to kill it, didn't work out, but I still sent it across. And I just play a really safe build. I go Hellion to Raven, like very, very standard here. I throw the Reaper in here. Okay, my opponent is playing Blink. And so here what I'm kind of looking for, I like to do the Reaper Hellion combo because it allows me to see what's in the main, but also what's in the natural, at the low ground pylon. So for example, here I see Gateway, Twilight, and I got hit by an Adept and 1 Stalker. So that doesn't reveal too much for me. Like this could still easily be a Dark Shrine, really anything. It could really be anything, right? Anything that wants Twilight. So it's not really concrete information, which is why I really like building the Hellion. So now I send the Hellion down this way. I see the probe head this way. I see 2 Stalkers and an Adept plus a later Robo. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable here because A, I'm already playing Raven, so no adjustments need to be made. B, I see 2 gateways, or no, 2 gate Twilight Robo, very standard build, and I saw the probe go across. So already very comfortable. I can continue with my build. I don't need to adapt anything. Even if I weren't building a Raven, I may not feel the need to have to build one, right? So yeah, here I swap, right? Here I swap. Combat shields, marauders. I snapped the observer. I could not tell you why he did this. I don't know. Like, you'll see right now, he actually kills my Raven. So random. So pretty much I killed the observer, and then I sent my Raven across because I wanted to do a missile to harass. And he literally sends the stalkers as soon as I kill it here, and I was so confused. So confused. I still can't explain that to you, to be honest. Like, sorry, am I just a little bit loud? I still cannot explain that to you, to be honest. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me, but, but yeah. So that's what happened there. And yeah, I do this little push out here. This, again, normal stuff. So whenever this move is, in this case for me, it's at 6:30. You know, for you, it might be maybe a minute later. If it's anything past 7:30, honestly, then maybe either something happened in the game or there's something going on with your build. But anywhere between 6:30 to 7:30, it's really open. You'll see games where Mario does it like 7:30 as well. It's not too much about MMR, more so like what has just happened in the game. So in this case, the game was very straightforward. So I had, besides my Raven getting sniped, I had everything on time. I have 2 tanks. I'm building mines. I have enough money to build a command center now. So I know I go ahead and do my move out. And down here, I build my 3rd base on location. You don't need to do this. Again, if you feel more comfortable building here, you definitely can. For me, it's just because the game has been going very smooth since the beginning. Besides the Raven, that I feel that I could take a 3rd on location. And so basically at this point, I think the biggest kind of issue is like for Terran players, it's kind of like, okay, where do I attack? Do I need to attack? You know, what can I do basically? What with this army that I have here, which is a very normal Terran army, you know, what could I do with this, and what am I supposed to do with this? So in terms of route of engagement, this is technically faster going this way. The issue here is that you kind of get stuck in a choke. So either it makes it really hard to push in, or it benefits you because they overextend and then they go into the choke. And so that one is a little bit tough, I will be honest, in terms of like just being able to like zoom right through it. You might have more luck with something like here where you can just like siege a tank here and start hitting this gateway off the bat. So I guess it really just depends on how aggressive you want to be. If you do want to be more aggressive and like pedal to the metal, I would recommend going one of these different routes here. But if you're kind of just hitting this timing, but you already have in mind that you're going to be transitioning, then maybe this is a good call. And so I do that here. I'm gonna go ahead and move out here. I see my opponent has Templar, so notice here, this is actually really important because I do a lot of coaching, and this is something that it is a pretty normal reaction, which is to stim. So here, I've already scanned, so I know this had Templar, and my opponent also knows that I'm moving in. And so something that is very common for Protoss players to do is that they'll jump on your army, right? Easily, right? You're not sieging your mines, tanks is best time for them to attack. So here I'm a bit careful. I am lucky that I had this stimmed already, and if you can stim 1 Marine forward, and it might be something that'll help you a lot. So if you feel like that is a good idea to kind of like get the extra vision or the extra jump, if he does to go in for the A move, that could be good. But yeah, here instead of stimming, I only have 2 medevacs, so I need to be cautious of the fact that if I stim here plus stim again, I'm handicapping my units, right? And maybe the tail end of my marauders catching some of the storm is still way less health that I would need to heal if I were to have stim there and have to heal my entire army. So instead I kind of pull back, and then I split it up here, as you can see, right? And then now I'm taking it very slow. Again, here, need a little bit of a storm. Don't stim. I really think stimming can sometimes make it worse. Now, like, I don't know, if they're chasing you with the zealots and there's like high Templar behind you, then yeah, like go ahead and if you need some turn away, go for it. But just be a little bit more, a little bit patient with the stims. I think is just something that hurts a lot. You can see here that my medevac's already getting pretty low, and that's I've not even stimmed. Like those are just like the tail end of my units catching the storm. So, but again, I'm not super like there's no, how do I say it, rush for me to push in here. It's way worse for me if I lose this army for absolutely nothing, because I'll just die. Like, I'll literally just die. As opposed to I retain all of my units. My opponent has stopped building probes and is building up on these batteries. Here are 3 batteries already. And it's playing. Oh, Jesus. Very defensive. So kind of poke forward. And you know, I'll try to do a little bit, maybe force this battery. You can see here I go for a mine drop, so you could also do like a 2 medevac drop. You've probably seen something like this before from a player. It's like you have this main army here, and then you go for a 2 medevac drop here. It is a lot of multitasking. If you think that adding that extra multitask is something that's gonna make it really hard for you to control both armies, I would honestly recommend you don't do it. The biggest reason being is that I feel like there's a bit of a conundrum for lower league players, which is like you want to play like the best Terran. So what do? You want to do the multi drops. You want to do the, I don't know, attacking 3 places at once. So I kind of have the sick fight, and you know, as you get better, like it's definitely the way you want to be playing. But you know, regardless of the player you are, if you lose too many units for absolutely nothing, you'll just die. Instantly just die. So if, for example, you do this double drop and then you lose this drop for absolutely free because then you were controlling this, it's not worth it. You were just better off just using this. So just feel it out. Feel it out. See how it works for you. That's what I would recommend. And then I keep the advance going because I feel like I can do so with the army that my opponent has. And then notice that I am not rallying. And this is just the last point I want to make. I'm actually going to stop the video here because I want to segment it into different parts. But pretty much here, I don't rally because of these run bys. Run by, Warp Prism, anything really. Like those kinds of things do affect you a lot and can change the tide of the game, especially when you're sitting on the other side of the map. And that is true for any matchup, right? TVZ, TvP, TvT, no matter what. So don't rally across. If you want to pick up this 2 medevacs to go across, that's completely fine. Everything else, just keep it in your base. You know, keep it here. Maybe you wall off the natural in TvP. You can keep it here. That's actually an excellent place to put it. In your main too, if you feel more comfortable doing so. People just usually do this down here because it's in the middle of like all your bases. I'm falling asleep. Hello. Bad content. But yeah, so just to really summarize, like I really don't want to make this video too long at all. So like the important stuff that we discussed. So the first thing, and I'll probably just put something up here somewhere that kind of listed out. First thing being scouting. With the Reaper Hellion. Very, very important. If you need to change your build depending on what your opponent's doing, go for it. I know he didn't really do a cheese build. And I'll go over more in-depth scouting. But there'll be like subtle hints you can get. What comes out of the gateway, for example, like 2 adepts to me instantly bring Stargain to mind, for example, but it's not definitive. Like no matter what, you're looking for a definite answer there, and that's why I feel I really enjoy doing this Reaper Hellion combination with the scouting. But of course, some openers are good against most builds. For example, 3 racks, so it may not even be necessary. Scouting, these push shots here, unit retention, and just like not overstimming to keep your medevac HP. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll end the video here, and then I'll put a different part where I talk more about the mid game, which I think is like really juicy because whatever happens here in the early game will dictate how the pace of the mid game goes. And I'll go more in depth here. I'll also include the replay in the description for you guys so you can watch it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the other half of the next part of the video. Deuces.